Lagoon Motte. So it just arrived straight in from Sydney. Really good actually into Paris. If you're coming to the Lagoon Motte, you get the TGV from Paris down to Montpellier, then a quick Uber ride and we're here. So we'll be doing some live tours for Australians back in Australia of some of the new products that are there from Lagoon. Let's go. About to look at the boat that has been causing all of the excitement at the boat show, and it's one of the smallest boats at the boat show, but it's a bit of a giant killer. So the Lagoon 38, here she is. We've had a lot of Australians at the show, which has been brilliant, and a lot of them actually choosing the Lagoon 38 as their next boat to go cruising in. So that's exciting, and I'm going to show you why. You know, a lot of people have been looking at 40s, 42 footers, and then they've seen this boat. Now this is the new generation from Lagoon. It's an absolute beauty. Loads and loads of innovation. They're keeping it simple though. They don't want a boat that you're going to be having to work on, tinker on, you know, be fixing. They want a boat that you can get on and enjoy. Boat that sails well, so sail area to displacement is very, very respectable. Looking here though, what's interesting, if we look at the bow, this is a new VPLP design. It's on the 43, which is also new generation, and on this brand new 38. So you can see the waterline where it touches the waterline, really nice profile through the water. And then it flares out dramatically on either side. What that gives you is a huge amount of volume inside the boat. It also gives you a lot of payload capability. And a lot of you guys were going to be picking these boats up from us in Europe, sailing around. You will load it up with gear. To that end, they've got a lot of storage on this boat. They've concentrated on creating a lot of storage. So you'll see that as we go through it. You can see the tender there from Highfield. That's specifically designed for Lagoon. And that fits beautifully on the tender davits, which are really nicely high out of the water. So for when you are doing that blue water sailing there, your tenders are way and high. You can see the classic gull wing underneath there. So between the hulls, that's giving you two main things. One is it gives you a lot of quietness, so it disperses the water slap as you're going along. That's nice, but also it does provide volume. If you're barreling down a wave, which is very rare, but if you are, that's the first thing before the bows get too low to touch the water and pop you up, give you more volume. And little things have changed the cleats forward here, which are nice, you know, makes mooring forward easier rather than using these cleats and having to wrap a rope around. You've got your classic huge hull windows framed by the beautiful moldings of the boat here. Handholds up top. Lots of lounging area at the front. These windows here are actually slightly higher again, and you'll see in the effect that the tinted windows have inside. It's gives you a sense of space. Coming on at the back of the boat, little things, but you're walking straight on, so you're not straddling the back of the boat. And here you've got a lovely handhold as you're going on to the boat. You're simply one very small step and you're in the cockpit. When you're in the cockpit, you can just look up there. Look how they've pocketed the doors away all the way to the right. You can imagine when you have the clears around the side here, this becomes a massive room, massive living area. But you can see from here how big this boat really is. This down here opens up again nicely. It opens up with the back to the sea. So if you did have to access the engine when you're at sea, you're doing it that way. And then looking in here, huge amount of space around the engine. You see the water maker in there, engine switches. Classic Lagoon, loads of space to work to access these things. This is all very configurable as well. So it comes standard here with actually a small coffee table in this area. And that coffee table can be moved to here. Coffee table then could, if you have this, can also act as an addition onto the end of the table here. Or it can join up these two tables. So you can have one massive table, you can have a big table outside, coffee table inside, as you like, you know. And then these doors can come all the way across. And again, nice tinted doors there. Just works beautifully. Lots of storage, as you can see, as you're looking through the boat, which is something you'll need, you know, when we are cruising on these boats. Look at that, massive fridge. Everyone loves a big fridge, and this is a monster. It's beautifully done. Gas, oven, sink, everything to hand. They're doing a lot at the factory, as everyone seems to be, you know, but in terms of recycling the environment, all of the upholstery is 100% recycled. We're using bioresins to build the boats. You know, we're using standard, you have a UV water purifying system, so you're not using plastic bottles on the boat. You can, you know, just use the taps, knowing that your water is great. All of the wood is FSC certified, and even down to the factories. You know, at the factories where all the ISO accreditations is the highest level. So for the people working with us at the factory, they work in a nice environment. We're still setting up, so we've got all the cushions here. We're here early in the mornings before the rush. What we're going to do, we'll have a look here in the guest cabin. So down here, rather than having two separate toilets, there's one large toilet servicing both of your guest cabins. So down here, you can see separate shower area and toilet. And then here, one of your guest rooms with a nice light. There's a crew cabin forward, and that's why they've got this hatch. Without the crew cabin option forward, you don't have that hatch in this area. But it's really nice, cozy place. Your guests will be happy. And then in here, the same again. Nicely finished all around. Lots of nice finishing touches on this boat. You know, lovely. This is all nice. This is all tactile. It's all leather. And you can see these tinted windows all around. If you're on autopilot a lot of the time, especially when you're cruising. So to be on autopilot, be down here, perhaps making a cup of tea, but having the ability to monitor all around you is just absolutely fantastic. Let's go down into the master cabin. If you have a 4-cabin version, it's exactly the same as what we just looked at on the right starboard side, but on the port side. But if you want the owner's version, which this is, very special indeed. So you can see in here, lovely area. Again, heaps of storage. Nice place to write your journal or do some emailing, put on your makeup, get ready for an evening out and about in the port. Nice wide bed here. Lovely. Opening hatches up here, opening hatches over here. You can have air conditioning on this boat, and actually the air conditioning is for the hulls, because ultimately upstairs, you know, you've got so much light and air coming in that you don't, and with the vertical windows, it stays very, very cool up there in a really nice way. But when you want to sleep at night, sometimes a bit of coolness in your cabins is nice. So you can opt for that air conditioning. Storage in here. So throughout the boat, there's loads and places to put your stuff. Here, fabulous. So a 38-footer, and look at the size of the head and the shower with a separate door. You could have 3 people in that shower if you wanted to. And you can have, you know, you can sit down there and shower, so you're at sea and you're rocking and rolling, and it's actually quite nice to be able to do that and have a shower. So from the steering, here we are at the helm station. All the lines come to here. Easy to get to the stack pack up top. Amazing visibility forward to both bows, to both quarters. Here, and here. Just see, you can get an idea here of the beam and the size of this boat. Heaps of volume, but great ratios in terms of the sail area to displacement. So she'll sail nicely. Massive wide decks. She's a giant killer. It's the Lagoon 38. I hope you've enjoyed having a look. Thanks guys, and goodbye from Lagoon and La Grande Motte.